Very nice voice. Good morning. It is right at 8:30. So we're going to get started, and we're going to wake you all up with a clap, clap, woohoo, okay? 1, 2, 3. Woo! Okay. I got the Council of Leaders group doing that this week, and we had a lot of fun with that. I'd like to just thank you for being here today. It's been a great week of learning and friendship. I just hear all the chatter, and that's what being a pilot is all about, isn't it? It's just reconnecting with our friends, and we look forward to that. So today, I am very, very blessed to have our incoming president-elect, Holly Baker, here to assist me and to be there to remind me if I forget something. But we're gonna get started with the president-elect training for this morning. So how many of you, I'm gonna just start with this, how many of you have been presidents before? That's exactly what I was thinking. Well, you have a chance to make it right this time. You laughed a little bit too hard on that one. So we're going to talk about some ideas, and then we're going to open it up for ideas that you have, best practices, new ways that you might be going about presiding over your club. So we all welcome those best practices or new ideas and ways to motivate our club members. But I'm going to tell you right now, I hate to tell you this, but the tone of your year is going to be dependent on you. The tone of any group that we lead depends on the leader. So I would ask that you would just really focus on bringing a positive message to your clubs. You are the heartbeat, along with our governors, of our organization. So you set the tone. And so if you are a negative Nelly, just go ahead and slap yourself right now, because you're not going to be doing that anymore. Just slap yourself out of it, because it's not happening this year. We're going to make it positive, and I believe that if we have a positive message, we have great energy, people are going to want to be a part of our organization, a part of your clubs. It'll make growing your clubs a lot easier. So there are requirements for clubs. Oh, and by the way, Carol Sanders is going to have a sign-up sheet afterward. If you would like a copy of this presentation, we will, I can email it to you, but I did not bring any handouts. I had way too much luggage as it is, and I'm in a lot of trouble with my club and my district and my husband already about how much stuff I have, so I did not bring a handout for you. So I'll just send the actual presentation to you. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Carol. Yes, ma'am. It will. It'll be on the website. See, that's a young person. See, we want it emailed to us, and she's just going to get it directly from the website. Very, very good. I already know we're going to have challenges with this group. Okay, so we're going to get started. The requirements for clubs. And I'm going to tell you, whatever president thought about having a club manual and a district manual, bless them. The SMART book is excellent. I'm thankful to Connie every time I see her, give her a big hug for the SMART book. But The club manual has all of this in it, and so you can find it on the website, Mallory, or you can just look at it on your computer, or you can be like me and kill a tree and print it up. So it's whichever way you want to do it. So requirements for clubs. So a club consists of really the three things are the officers and their president, president-elect, secretary, treasurer. You might have a corresponding secretary and recording secretary, thank you. And then we have the executive board, and those are meeting as needed. And I would recommend myself, what worked for me, I was a club president back in 2000. And what I would do is I would have a separate evening that I had my executive board meeting, so I didn't have to rush through it before my meeting, but I know that people are very busy, so if you have it before your actual board meeting, your actual club meeting, that works too. And it was funny because people found out about my executive board meetings and that I was baking fresh muffins for the board. And so I started getting non-board members come and want to sit in on my meetings. So if you're going to have something special, don't spread the word. And the requirement now is only 6 meetings a year that you have to have an actual meeting. So you can get creative. Winnie Brewer came and talked again about her innovative club. And so they have 6 meetings a year, and a lot of clubs are doing that, business meetings. And then the other meeting, if you want to have another meeting, you can use it for projects. So I think that is a great way to grow your clubs as well, that your members know that you're going to be doing some actual project at least 6 times a year. So how many people right now have just 6 club meetings a year, business meetings? Okay, so it's just something to think about. Or you can have a project within your meeting so that your members feel like it was worth them coming to the meeting. You just got to think outside the box. We've got to really work with our members, okay? Because if they get discouraged because, wow, I had to get a babysitter and I had to come out and, oh my God, this business meeting went on forever. I have a couple of people in my club that are real traditional and they thrive on a long agenda. I mean, they're just salivating as we go through it. It's like, oh, this is just amazing. And then we've got the younger people in our club, they're under 30, that they're texting or on their phones during the business meeting, because it just really isn't that interesting to them. I understand that you have to have a business meeting, but keep it moving. If your divisions don't have a report, they don't need to be saying anything. They don't have to stand up and say, no report, Madam President. It can all be prepared ahead of time. And that's another thing, is that the more preparation that you give to a meeting, the better it'll run. So if you're just kind of, we did have a club president once, and she was writing out the agenda like 5 minutes before the business meeting. So that doesn't work. Oh, I just turned it off. I pressed the wrong clicker. There it is. Thank you. Oh. Okay. So becoming a leader, you all love Pilot, and that is why you have stepped up, or maybe somebody put a gun to your head and threatened you that way. threatened to take your birthday away from you. But it's because you love Pilot. And you want to see your clubs grow. So your members will sense that passion in you. Spread that passion to them. And you know, it is the biggest blessing to be called on to lead at club level, district level, and even international level. It is the biggest blessing, right, Susan? So it is a huge blessing, and it is a lot of responsibility. But that is why they've asked us, is because they know that we are going to accept the challenges. I love this. Leaders are extraordinary people who accept or are placed under extraordinary circumstances that bring forth their talent, their latent potential, producing a character that inspires the confidence and trust of others. So they are trusting you. They are putting their trust in you. Don't let them down. I know you won't. So becoming a leader, before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. It's not about you. It isn't. It's not about you, and you walk in the room and you need to have a train of people behind you. No, it's not about that. It's servant leadership. You are the greatest servant to your club. When you step up and you are committing to be the club president or president-elect, you are the greatest servant to that group. You serve your club. So what do you need to lead? So you've got to set your goals for the year, and what I would do is I would sit down in a quiet spot, so it probably won't be here, and sit down and set the goals for your year if you haven't already. Realistic goals. What vision do you have for your club? First of all, what vision do you have for your club? And then set goals from it. How are you going to attain that vision? How are you going to reach your goals? Be specific. And then you're going to prepare agendas for your board and club meetings. And those sample agendas are in your club manuals. So it's all there. And then you're going to preside at the executive board and club meetings and oversee the club officers, appointees, and club members. And you know your members will know if you have prepared or not. They really will. So Peter Drucker said, unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hope, but no plans. As you set the goals for your clubs for this upcoming year, set realistic goals. Goals that will have objectives and a strategy to reach those established goals. So you know, it's unrealistic to say, well, we're going to grow our membership by 50 members this year. Well, I hope you do, but that's not realistic. That's not realistic. So for the plans of work, there's 6 divisions, and for some smaller clubs, I know some of us come from very small clubs. I'm thankful that I come from a club of about 30, so we do have these different divisions, and so well, except for Anchor and Compass. Although I have 2 brand new Anchor in our district. They're my 2 granddaughters, so pretty happy about that. Yay! But we have projects, fundraising, membership, and leadership. And so Anchor and Compass. And so we have these divisions. And so not all clubs have work plans, but does everybody do a plans of work? Do we still do those? Okay, good. You know, I think that's really beneficial because each of your divisions, they separate out, they decide what kinds of things they want to do the coming year, or as a group, if you don't have enough to do like these different divisions, or as a club you decide what projects are we going to do, what fundraisers are we going to do, how are we going to grow our membership, and what types of leadership projects are we going to do. Then you come together, you figure out how much money you're going to need for all of them, and then you set your budget accordingly. So that's an important part of if you have the plans of work meetings. And that you should happen like at your June or July meeting, so that at your August meeting, your club is voting on a budget. And like I told you before, the club manuals are a guide, and so when you figure out your agenda, there are the essential things that really are important that you need to cover during your meeting. But then there are some things that aren't as essential, and they're a little bit more traditional if you come from that. And then there's the fluff, which you got to have some fluff. You can't just have your essential and a little bit of extra. You got to have a little fluff so that people really feel that coming to the meeting is worth it, especially as we try to woo younger members. We've got to have a project, something that they do, or some time for social, in the middle of your agenda, maybe take 15 minutes to get snacks, something like that. Just be creative that way. So for preparation, you've got to prepare ahead of time. And so please come prepared for these meetings. It doesn't take a lot to prepare an agenda. Call on your division people. Maybe they can do a presentation. Maybe you can set up for the year who's going to do a program, a short 15-minute program. I remember when I was club president, I had a theme every month. I love themes. And so what I did is I find my club members, if they didn't dress in the color I told them to dress in. So the serious club members, they rolled their eyes, but they were patient with me. And I'd have the room decorated in the theme, or just keeping it fun. And then I had a speaker, a 15-minute speaker at every one of my meetings, or something that we did. So that, because I remember I would go to meetings before I was club president, and I think, oh, is this all there is? I killed myself to get here. And we just ran through this agenda, and we didn't really do anything hands-on or have a speaker. So I had a city councilor come and talk. I had different people come, and it doesn't have to be long, but you got to make it worth their while. And so you're going to notify members who will be called upon to give reports so they can be prepared. And you can call your division people ahead of time, and if they don't have a report, they don't need to be called on. It wastes time to be standing up. No report, Madam President. And then you always begin on time. I'll tell you, the year I was club president, my number one mentor, Dolores, the first thing she told me is, you always start on time. You don't wait for those people that are trickling in, that are late. You're going to start on time and appreciate the people that got there on time. So that's what I've done. She'd be happy that I started this meeting on time. So we've got the expectations that you each need to know are the PI bylaws. And yes, they're on the website, so you can look at them there. And they'll even have the updates from this convention. Club and district standing rules and parliamentary procedure. And there is a lot, even you can even Google, basic parliamentary procedures so that you can follow them. And it really keeps your meeting going when you do run your meeting with parliamentary procedure. You're supposed to anyway, but I've been to club meetings and they're just all over the place, and so it becomes chaotic. And then know your deadlines. The club manual has all of this. And you are never to, as president of your club, never to make a motion. So you can call for a motion, but you never make a motion. And so one of the things, it's I move and not I make a motion. So I move, so you can kind of help your club members with that. It has to be seconded, the chair restates the motion, then discussion. Then you vote. And so there is a parliamentary procedure handout on the PI website under member resources. Really go through it and make sure you know it, along with the PI bylaws and policies and procedures. So leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. So along while the year goes, you will see people that will step up. They will step up, and you can keep a mental note. That would be an awesome person to encourage, to mentor, to be a future leader in your club. And then you're also going to hold your secretary accountable. So they take the meeting minutes for the executive board and your club meetings, and these minutes should never be destroyed. This is your club's history. So make sure that they take good minutes. Now, they don't need to put in those minutes, Carol had the cutest hairdo, or Joan had the most despicable jacket on. Sorry, Joan. None of that needs to be in there. It should be just the business of the meeting. You can put a few details, about maybe a project that you're going to be working on, so that there is that record. But way too much detail is put in minutes a lot of times. Okay, so are there any questions about that? And I hope the secretaries are going to be learning about that. And so they submit the notification of change in membership to the district and PI headquarters via member clicks. And the secretary shares copies of the minutes, and she works closely with the treasurer in regard to membership and dues. So you keep her accountable. You make sure that she has those minutes done. You go through those minutes ahead of the meeting to make sure that they're accurate. And then they can send them out ahead of the meeting so that there aren't a lot of questions and it doesn't bog down the meeting. If they're sent ahead of time with the agenda, you don't have to take a lot of time for reading them. And they can read them on their own. Dear God, please don't have your secretary reading the minutes at your meetings. And then you're going to hold the treasurer accountable too. So they promptly paid all the bills, and you will be countersigning all checks, and they send new member dues to District and Pilot International, and they coordinate that membership with the secretary, so they work in tandem with the secretary. And then they complete the tax forms, the annual tax forms, and submit the incorporation fees annually. And then they also make their payments to Pilot International, the 250 goal, pay setter, February 1st, and the ambassador contributions that are due September 30th for the pilot log. So it's a collaboration. The collaboration is, the president-elect should work closely with the president. So, and the president-elect should support the president. So you're mentoring your president-elect. If you're a president here, you are mentoring your president-elect. And the president-elect, you need to be mentored. And so maybe it's the other way around sometimes, but you guys need to really work together. It's a collaboration. And communicate. I cannot tell you how important this is. This is like the most important slide of all. Communicate so that your members know what's going on. If you have a small club, you can text them, emails, create a listserv that has all the emails. Our club does, what is the name of it? It's not WhatsApp, it's the other one. Group Meet. Yeah, that's what it is. Text messages and a newsletter is really beneficial. And you don't actually need to make it very long. It can be a couple of pages long, but it has important dates, a message from you. There are a lot of clubs that have moved away from that. You don't have to do a newsletter, but it sure is nice when the members can hear from you that way. And you don't have to do the newsletter. There's a lot of times there are people in your club that love to do newsletters. So you can task them with that and they feel a part of your club in a special way. How many people here have a club newsletter that they do? Oh, good. Oh, you guys are awesome, overachievers. So just communicate, just let them know, take lots of pictures. It's so important. And we have Skype on here, and I didn't add Zoom. If you can even do Zoom, even a hybrid for your meeting for those that are shut-ins, boy, now Zoom is here to stay, guys. If you can have a hybrid meeting, I know that with my own job, with my chamber in Main Street, we have some members that are still they're on Zoom, and then we've got some people that are there meeting. So offer it. I think that that's kind of a nice thing so that you get more participation. Anybody doing Zoom? Awesome. Yeah. So we talked about the different ways that we communicate, and share your governor's bulletins with your club members. Oh my God, I cannot stress that enough. Please share your governor's bulletins with your club members. It is so important. So many times, I know I was governor 3 times, and sometimes I talk to somebody and they'd say, oh, well, my president doesn't share your governor's bulletin. So what I did is I did a listserv of my entire district. I only have, less than 60 people in my district, so it was easy, but I just really stress that you share the governor's bulletins and the PI mailings. So there is a monthly newsletter that comes out from PI. Share that with your club members. Any headquarter news, share. We can never communicate enough. So what's the buzz? So we've got all these different things that we can talk about in our newsletters and in our club meetings. So we've got even the Pilot International Conventions. Another way that you can communicate is if your club has its own Facebook page, and then you can post pictures in there as well. And so Facebook and Instagram and all the rest. And then, like I said, just share. Okay, now we're going to have our fabulous incoming president-elect Holly Baker come and talk about official visits. Yay!
Well, good morning, everybody.
Do you want me to move this?
No, you don't have to. When we got the lineup for leadership training, Rona was by herself for president-elect, and I panicked. And I remembered the last time I've been to president-elect training was 2009, so I thought I should probably be here today, brush up on some things, and Rona was nice enough to let me talk too, so thank you for that. I'm going to talk to you about official visits, what they are, and how they work. So the official visit is when a district officer attends the executive board and club meetings. This is a chance for club members to meet a district officer and learn more about the district and PI, Pilot International. The training that may take place, the district officer presents a short training session, which the club tells the district officer what they need. So there needs to be communication between the president and the district officer. We don't want a district officer to come in and assume what the club may need, so communicate together on that. And will you be having 5 topics on that, or do they get to decide this year?
They pretty much.
Okay, so you get to decide. All right. It's an opportunity to alert the district and Pilot International of any issues, and I don't like the word problem, so we'll use the word opportunity to see what we can help the club with, what you're experiencing with. But the best part is that the district officer is there to celebrate the club. So they're there to celebrate the successes of the club. They are there to celebrate any anniversaries. If you have a speaker, so they're really there to celebrate you. Who does the visitor meet with? Well, they'll meet with the club president, the president-elect, your executive board. That may be separate meeting, and then they should be meeting with your club membership, obviously any guests you have, civic leaders, and if you have an opportunity to share something with the local press, they can meet with them as well. Official visits, what do they need? What do they need from you before they come? Well, pretty much they need everything. They need to see your budget, your member roster, and then any materials that would help them get to know the club. You want to share the club agenda with them prior to the meeting, and I won't make you raise your hands, but we may have experienced, make sure that you put your district visitor on your agenda. This has happened from time to time where they're not on the agenda, so make sure you get them on the agenda. Some of the background information that they may need about the club includes the charter date, the plans of work, if you have any 25 or 50-year members that they can celebrate, club projects, your fundraisers, any accomplishments of recognition, share the club website or your Facebook page, social media pages, and then any awards that you want to share with them. And we mentioned the 25 and 50-year members because they are entitled to a special pin, certificate, and a letter signed by the Pilot International president. So you will want those, you need to get those items in advance to have them prepared for your meeting. You do this by notifying your headquarters and your district rep, so we can make sure that they're there for that official visit. Oh, don't we love John Maxwell? He's so wonderful. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Make sure you show the way this year. And we'll do that by leading by example. Be a team leader. Be a good role model. Represent your club at civic and community events. And be known in the community as a Pilot ambassador. Wisdom is knowing the right path to take. Integrity is taking it. Be an inspiration for others to follow. Be a leader that's a team player. No one does the job alone. By doing this, you're an ambassador for Pilot in your community. We have so many seasoned leaders in this room. It's just a quick reminder, we know you're going to do your best this year. All right, so how can we continue to be a pilot ambassador? Well, of course, attend the fall workshop, fall council, your district, and Pilot International conventions. You want to report to membership at the next business meeting, so when you go home, presidents, president-elects, however you work that out, please share your experiences here at convention with them and update your clubs, and make certain that you answer your members' questions and concerns. It is okay to say, I don't know, if it's followed by, I will find out. And anyone who knows me or Rona knows we will find the right answer for you, and you do the same for your club. It is okay to say, I don't know, and think about it before you answer a question. Make sure you find out the answer, and then make sure you follow up. Remember to get that answer back to the member. We have so many resources available for you. We have the club manual. We have the Pilot International website. You have past club presidents. You have your district officers, your DAC. You will have your executive committee representatives, so that would be one of us. And you also have Pilot International headquarters. We are all here for you, so please use your resources so we can assist you this year. Go ahead and kick it back to Rona. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk today.
Yay. Thank you, Holly. So be an ambassador for Pilot. Know Pilot, talk Pilot, speak to groups, and promote Pilot. If you have an opportunity to go speak to a group about Pilot, do it. Whatever you can do, you've got to be that ambassador for Pilot. And like I said, you set the tone this year. So this is a great invitation. Join us for your next meeting. Value your members' time. Remember, we are all volunteers. Keep the meeting moving. We are Pilot International, so it starts with the member, the club, district, and Pilot International. But you're the ones that are talking to are in touch with your members, with Polly Pilot or Paul Pilot. So you have to be the one that really encourages them with Pilot and, have that passion for them. So your gifts are not about you. Leadership is not about you. Your purpose is not about you. It's about serving. We talked about that. Are there any questions or comments or best practices, how you have run a meeting or anything at all? Yes. Good morning. Oh, we have a mic up here, hon. Our AV people have been awesome too. Thank you, guys.
Oh, that works so much better. In the 6 divisions that you noted, we don't have a designation for leadership. We have membership. So could you further define what would be included in your leadership division?
Well, for the leadership division, that person would be a mentor for future leaders. They could even be on your program through the year to present a presentation on leadership, what leadership is about, that sort of thing.
Okay.
They would just, but they're there just at pretty much to mentor your group. Would you say that that's pretty much what it would be? Come up here with me.
Yeah. And your leadership person could also be someone who maybe educates on some best practices for leadership, so there could be some education component to that as well.
Yes.
So
They could have a leadership tip at every meeting. You could call on them and say, do you have anything to give us today about leadership, and they could just have a few little tidbits on that.
And we
Well,
do
I, excuse me. Well, I find it very interesting that when we were listening to everyone's presentation, when we were voting for our members, that we don't have a membership division, and that is our most crucial thing for pilot. Should we not rethink that? Maybe leadership, and what I'm thinking is that probably membership and leadership go together.
They could.
So anyway, just a point of interest. I don't know how we ended up, because I've been in the club 40 plus years, and we have always had a membership division. So I am curious why PI doesn't have a membership division.
Well, it's part of club services. The membership division is, Claire takes care of the members that way. But we do have a membership coordinator, a international membership coordinator that we can get you in touch with. There's a leadership coordinator at international level, and a membership coordinator, a fundraising coordinator, and a projects coordinator, and that's also should be happening in your district. So those would be people that could help you maybe with presentations or
Well,
something.
I don't know that we necessarily need help with it. I just found it interesting that it was a separate division, and we could either create one or we could incorporate that into the
Sure.
into the VP position.
That- for
But
sure.
anyway, I guess I'm up here recommending that PI create or add to its divisions a membership division, because that our survival depends on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
morning.
My question is about communication. A lot of our members don't read their emails, but I want to make sure everyone gets the word, not to embarrass me, themselves, or the club. What do you recommend?
Well, for important information, I would do text messages. I know that whenever I really need to get a hold of my kids, I text them.
And we have
And
some
they
that
still
don't.
and they still don't answer me a lot most of the time, but I think that they get it better.
We have some that don't do text. Some that don't even have cell phone.
Well, then, you know what I would recommend? That you create a position or a responsibility for somebody to have like a phone tree that they call those people. Because, yeah, and they would call those people. So it's probably not a whole lot of people, but for everything that you're wanting to send out, that they're not getting the information, you can assign somebody. Would you make a quick phone call and make sure that they know about this?
And if we do send the email and they don't read it, I mean, where is our responsibility?
That you've already done what you can.
Okay. That's what we're doing. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have an idea that
Okay.
you may want to consider in your club. We have done it, maybe not consistently, but have done it before. One thing that I found after I joined Pilot was that I was craving the influence of strong women after the death of my mother, who was a force to be reckoned with. So I kind of got that through Pilot, just the older ladies who, just kind of took us up under our wings, even at almost 50. But when the pandemic hit, of course, a lot of those ladies did not want to get out, couldn't get out, and we still wanted to meet. So we did kind of a reverse mentorship, where a more tech proficient member would go to that veteran member and attend the meeting via Zoom.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they were still very much a part. And of course, then you got a cool little connection there because you've got two people. So getting those more tech proficient members with your members that just don't want to get out and they can still be a part, of course, and participate via Zoom. So,
Yeah, I love that.
So.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Our pilot club uses the app Telegram. If you haven't heard about it, you can create groups in it. It works really, really well with our communications. We've got like 3 or 4 different groups. We have presidents, and then we have the executive board, and then we have the rest of the membership. And you just go on there and send your message to all of them, and it works well.
Awesome.
And one of the things with using
Telegram.
One of the things with using the apps or a phone tree is nice for those who may not be able to use that technology, so that is still a wonderful tool. But with the apps, you can see how many people have read the message. You may even be able to see who has read the message. So somebody was asking for the accountability component. Also, if you are emailing your members and you need to make sure they've seen the email, you can ask them to reply that they've seen the email, so you can see who you may need to reach out to via phone.
Good idea. There's even like there on there for an email that like a delivery.
Mm-hmm. A delivery.
Yeah, delivery receipt.
Talking about the divisions, we ended up creating a division for publicity. We're in a small town where there are a number of service clubs, and everybody knew who Kiwanis was or who Lions were, whatever. We were doing a lot of things, but we were not getting the publicity. So thanks to our new district governor, Karen, we ended up creating a publicity division to get our information out, get our pilot club out there where people can look at it. And it's helping, and I think that that's maybe something that should be added somewhere along the line, especially now with everything being electronic.
Yeah, like a PR. Yeah.
Yeah, just a suggestion.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Back to communication. We have a calling tree, and our board is divided up, and each member is assigned to a board member. And every month, a week or so before our meeting, our calling tree is activated.
That's
and our emeritus members are also included in this, so they are kept abreast of everything that's going on. And it's also that one-on-one communication, and that keeps us alert of anything that may be going on with our members who are not currently attending, and things that we may be aware of. And that also helps us with our pick-me-ups for our members if there's something going on in a member's family that we may not be aware of. So that gives us that one-on-one personal communication.
That's a great idea.
Keeping on the communication and talking about sharing your governor's bulletins. So the Florida district, every member gets the governor's bulletin every month.
Good.
It's part of our budget. We use constant contact, and so everyone gets it every month. So it's not, oh, they didn't share it. It's you didn't open your email. That's how we utilize in Florida district. You get all of your information through that. And then also if you're doing a hybrid Zoom, you will find that for the people that are attending from their home, sometimes it is hard for them to hear the one computer that is there at the meeting with all the other people because they're talking. So you may want to look into, so we invested in a conference, digital conference phone to hook into our Zoom, so that way we can put it in the middle of the table and they can hear everybody. We also have a projector that we got, so that way we could project everybody that's attending via Zoom up onto the wall so everyone can see them as well.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Mallory's going to be doing tech training later. So
Yeah. Go to her. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. She and Holly. Any other questions or comments? Anything at all? Yes?
Good morning, everyone. Karen Ferguson Bain from the Bahamas District. One of the things that we try to implement from the Bahamas District level is with our newsletters. For those pilots who are no longer in our organization, sending them the newsletter so they can be abreast as to what we're doing so that they can come back to what they first love. And so that is a tool that you can use to try to get members to come back into the fold. Just sending them the newsletter, just telling them, letting you know what we're doing, and you can always come back whenever you're ready. So keeping them abreast as to what you're doing is
Doesn't
a
cost
wonderful
anymore.
tool.
Yes, and doesn't cost you anything. Nothing.
The newsletter is printed once a month. Yes, but clubs can do it, at their leisure. But for the district, it's once a month.
Yeah. Thank you, Karen. Sharon.
Good morning.
Hello.
Has there been any thought to considering, I'm speaking Southern, that's how the Southerners talk, about doing official visits via Zoom? Would save money, it would save time. We've learned at this convention the most precious asset we have is time. I'm not saying for every club, and I'm not saying for every year, but that's my question.
We've had several via Zoom. Actually, my own club did our official visit via Zoom. It was a long drive for our person, and it was a wonderful experience. She even gave our club ambassador an award, and it worked out really well. So,
well, we've
I
had
know others have, but it could be an option.
Well, we can have convention on Zoom. We had district conventions on Zoom, but we can't do a club visit on Zoom. I think it needs to be investigated.
That's a good point. Zoom is here to stay.
Good morning. About leadership, I'm actually Lisa Mosier at Riverview, and we're doing co-presidents this year, so we're trying something new. And we actually have co-president-elect. So it was our way of trying to get people to step up, me including. So this is going to be new for us, and we'll get back with y'all.
Sounds good. You're from the Riverview.
I'm from Riverview,
Yes.
yeah. Winnie's Club, yeah.
Yes.
That's what it says, yeah. So, but we've decided that if one of us isn't there and another person made a decision, that the club members can't come back to us like mom and dad and say, well, mom said no, but dad will say yes. A decision's made, so.
Good. I think that's a great idea.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Going back to communication, I would encourage all of us to think about and consider how we communicate with our members and find out why they're not responding to the way that we're communicating and not make assumptions. And the other piece of that, and I recently just learned this with the team that I'm on. We have a couple of team members, my work life, a couple of team members that are in their 20s. And another team member who was in his probably 30s, he said, I didn't realize I was causing this team member anxiety, but he would call out of the blue the team member that was in her 20s. And it caused a lot of anxiety because they don't live in that world. They live in text messages. Mm-hmm. And that really, it caused her a lot of anxiety, a lot of angst. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I had no idea, and I consider myself really young. He's like, I'm 30-something. So I would encourage us to really dig into why we're not getting responses from our members and encourage and find out the best way that they want to be communicated with and not make assumptions. Because we can't afford to lose members. And that would be one way to just really dive into that and take the time, because we've all lived through 2.5 years of a lot of mental anxiety, a lot of mental stress, and we've got to recognize that now. So I would encourage members to do that, you all to do that.
Thank you, Faith. Yeah. Whatever is your members feel most comfortable with is really the gist of it. Very good. Well, I hope that you all have a great year. You've got, like Holly said, there's a lot of resources out there for you, and a lot of information, presentations on the website, lots and lots of information from your governors, from your ECRs. So I just hope that you all have a great year, that you grow your clubs, and that we spread Pilot sunshine everywhere we go. Thank you. Oh, and if you haven't signed up for the presentation, you come and see Carol afterward. Thank you. Good morning, and have a great day.